Shalom. We are now on Psalm 68. For the leader of David, a psalm, a song. God will arise, his enemies shall be scattered, his foes shall flee before him. Disperse them as smoke is dispersed, as wax melts at fire, so the wicked shall perish before God. But the righteous shall rejoice, they shall exult in the presence of God, they shall be exceedingly joyful. Sing to God, chant hymns to his name, extol him who rides the clouds. The Lord is his name. Exult in his presence. The father of orphans, the champion of widows, God in his holy habitation. God restores the lonely to their homes, sets free the imprisoned, safe and sound, while the rebellious must live in a parched land. God, when you went at the head of your army, when you marched through the desert, Selah, the earth trembled, the sky rained because of God. Yon Sinai because of God, the God of Israel. You released a bountiful rain, O God. When your own land languished, you sustained it. Your tribe dwells there. O God, in your goodness, you provide for the needy. The Lord gives a command. The women who bring the news are a great host. The kings and their armies are in headlong flight. The housewives are sharing in the spoils. Even for those of you who lie among the sheepfolds, there are wings of a dove, sheathed in silver, its pinions in fine gold. When Shaddai scattered the kings, it seemed like a snowstorm in Salmon. O majestic mountain, Mount Bashan, O jagged mountain, Mount Bashan, why so hostile, O jagged mountains, toward the mountain God desired as his dwelling? The Lord shall abide there forever. God's chariots are myriads upon myriads, thousands upon thousands. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in holiness. You went up to the heights, having taken captives, having received tributes of men, even of those who rebel against the Lord God's abiding there. Blessed is the Lord. Day by day he supports us. God, our deliverance. Selah. God is for us a God of deliverance. God the Lord provides an escape from death. God will smash the heads of his enemies, the hairy crown of him who walks about in his guilt. The Lord said, I will retrieve from Bashan, I will retrieve from the depths of the sea, that your feet may wade through blood, that the tongue of your dogs may have its portion of your enemies. Men see your processions, O God, the processions of my God, my King, into the sanctuary. First come singers, then musicians, amidst maidens playing timbrels. In assemblies bless God. The Lord, O you who are from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin who rules them, the princes of Judah who command them, the princes of Zebulun and Naphtali. Your God has ordained strength for you, the strength, O God, which you displayed for us from your temple above Jerusalem. The kings bring you tribute. Blast the beasts of the marsh, the herd of bulls among the peoples, the calves, till they come cringing with pieces of silver. Scatter the peoples who delight in wars. Tribute bearers shall come from Egypt. Cush shall hasten its gifts to God. O kingdoms of the earth, sing to God. Chant hymns to the Lord. Selah. To him who rides the ancient highest heavens, who thunders forth with his mighty voice. Ascribe might to God, whose majesty is over Israel, whose might is in the skies. You are awesome, O God, in your holy places. It is the God of Israel who gives might and power to the people. Blessed is God. Obviously, a lengthy psalm, and within its 36 verses, there is so much to comment on and so much to pick apart. And within these few minutes, I do not have the ability to do that, but I just want to focus on a few quick things. First of all, that the psalm obviously emphasizes the majesty of God, God's capacity as sovereign and ruler of all the earth. That is a prevalent theme in the psalm. What interests me here is that first in verse 5, the psalmist mentions that God rides the clouds. The Lord is his name. Thus we shall sing to him, sing to God and chant hymns to his name, the God who rides the clouds. And then a few verses later, in verse 8, O God, when you went at the head of your army, when you marched through the desert. So God rides up in the heavens on his fiery chariot in the clouds, but at the same time heads and leads an army throughout the desert. The reference here to God at the head of the army of the Israelites as they marched through the desert headed towards the promised land. God is in the heavens, God is on the earth, God is leader everywhere, God is sovereign over the entire universe, heavens and earth. But sandwiched in between those two verses of God riding in the clouds and God marching through the desert, we have the following. The father of orphans, the champion of widows, God in his holy habitation. No matter where God is, in God's holy habitation, on heaven, on earth, God focuses specifically on God's caring of orphans and championing of widows. God cares for all those who are disenfranchised. The ultimate power and sovereign cares the most about those who are powerless. That is a beautiful image. God restores the lonely to their homes, sets free the imprisoned safe and sound. Well, we have homes to live in, and in fact, throughout the pandemic, most of us have been confined to our homes for large amounts of times. And even though the psalmist says God restores the lonely to their homes, some of us have come to feel alone and lonely in our homes as we crave the company of our fellow human beings. And the most we can get is Zoom services or Zoom meetings, discussions, coffee and conversation meetings, whatever. We crave and miss the physical proximity of our loved ones and of our friends. And while this virus waxes and wanes, we don't know how long we will have to stay close to home. But we are fortunate to be able to have the blessings of our homes and to know that God cares about us. Right now, all of us who are subject to COVID-19, who are susceptible to it, and that means everyone, we are like the orphans and the widows whom God cares about. We are like the ones who are powerless in the face of powers beyond our control. But the ultimate power, the highest power, God, will care for us during our time of need. And that is why the psalmist says, Blessed is the Lord, day by day he supports us, God, our deliverance. God's support is ongoing, day by day, our deliverance, if only we can remain open to that possibility of God delivering us, supporting us, and saving us day by day in our lives. You are awesome, O God, in your holy places. It is the God of Israel who gives might and power to the people. Blessed is God. Although we may feel like we are lacking in power, especially in the face of illnesses and viruses that are beyond our control, God, nevertheless, is able to, in God's holiness and care for us, lend us and share with us just a little bit of that awesome power that God possesses. And by tapping into God's power, we gain an amazing measure of power and strength through our belief and through our faith, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. Thank you.